Welcome to the Maverick Games podcast. We have a Develop special today. You'll see we are on the sunny beach of Brighton with the Brighton Pier in the background. I guess we should introduce ourselves. My name is Fraser Strachan, the audio director at Maverick Games. And joining us today is...
Grace Emery, principal sound designer, principal audio designer.
It is interchangeable, isn't it? And for the second time
number 2, so it's Oliver Johnson, or Ollie Johnson, as you could call me.
Oliver, if you're being told off.
Yeah, Oliver, if I'm being told off. Dialogue director.
Yeah, all right. Well, second time on the podcast, but first time on the podcast. Welcome, Grace.
Thank you. I'm honoured to be here.
Yeah.
Very excited after being a fan of the podcast for a very long time.
For all of 6 months. Long time listener.
Long time listener.
Have you liked
fan.
and subscribed?
Of course, I've shared every single podcast on every social media platform that I subscribe to.
We can check that right now.
Yep. Fact check.
Yeah, well, I guess this is great because what you see before you is the very makings of the entire audio team at Maverick Games. We've been working together now for close to
3 months.
3 months, probably.
Nearly 4, I think.
Yeah.
For me.
And it's going all right.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Dream come true.
So, Grace, I guess tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you come from? How did you come to join Maverick Games? Are you excited to be at Maverick Games?
So excited to be at Maverick Games, yes. So my game dev career, I have worked at Rebellion on games like Sniper Elite and Evil Genius 2. I've worked on Iron Man VR, more on the technical side, and I've also worked at CIG for a bit, so a real breadth of experience. We started chatting maybe 6 months ago, and I think you swayed me. I got totally sold on the project. It was so exciting, just chatting to you and getting to know more about the ethos of Maverick Games and everything that they stand for, and it just felt like everything I've always been looking for in a dev. And to this day, every single day at work, that is the truth. And it's how everyone lives, and everyone is living that culture. So it's been amazing.
Great. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
And you bring such an energy. I think as a person, you find everything. You're thrilled. Nobody gets more excited and passionate about stuff than you do, and I think that's a really good thing to be. And it's nice to be able to get feedback in such a positive way, I think.
That's awesome. Thanks, Ollie.
Well, I guess that brings us on to, we are currently pretty much a couple of days after the 6th month anniversary of Maverick Games, which has been pretty exciting.
You got the party popper?
No.
Okay. Right,
You'd think I'd be prepared for this. It's not like we brought a whole bunch of technology to do a podcast on the beach. Yes, 6 months feels like it's flown by, really.
Yeah.
Probably been the fastest 6 months of my life, certainly, and probably the most creative 6 months that I've really experienced in games. I don't know about you two.
I absolutely agree. I think I said to you yesterday that I blink and then a week goes by, but in that week I've learned so much, and I think I've achieved so much, and have these little. Fraser got to see an amazing moment the other day where I had a little breakthrough on something, and my little face lit up, and I was so excited. And those moments are really important to go to work and feel like you're achieving something. That was it was a really good moment for me.
Yeah, and we were talking on the train on the way down here about how you really have to enjoy those moments, because often you can kind of get bogged down in the process sometimes, and you feel like you're working towards the release of the game, and that is when the enjoyment will come, and of course it does. It's an incredible feeling when you actually finish the game, ship it, everyone gets to play it, everyone gets to tell you hopefully how much they like it.
Yeah. You go down the big Asda, you see it on the shelf, I made that.
Yeah, but I think the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of the fun of making games is things like this, coming to develop, coming to just getting to know the people you work with a lot better, and kind of getting closer in the process of making games. It is fun, it is creative, and I think certainly that's where I get my passion from.
No, totally. I'd never even considered the idea of working for a startup, especially in games. And I think we talk to a lot of people. A fair question that people ask is, is it a sort of risky thing to work for a startup? But it's just like you're both saying, I think like the frequency of wins and reward in what we're doing already in 6 months is just insane, and I would never have expected it. I mean, I know that you've talked about already, founding the company and how far you've come already in previous podcasts, but yeah, it must be insane for you to actually be at this stage of a game and really see like an idea grow that much in 6 months.
Yeah, it's this has been like a really special moment for me because certainly in like the 10 years I've been working in games, the foundation of the games has normally already been there, and I found this really interesting, the way that there'd be 20 people, we come up with a concept, working on this game, and then because we've grown from like 7 people up to 45 by now, and every new person that comes in, they get the pitch on what it is that we're working on, and then they get excited and they come up with new ideas, and it feels like what the game was 2 months ago is not what the game is now, in a good way. Like it's everyone is like chipping in and going like, that's great, cool, what about this idea? And it feels exciting. It feels like we've still got a long way to go in terms of like bringing people into the team and the passion and enthusiasm that's yet to kind of hit the ground.
I think on the last podcast I was on, we were talking about that this particular stage, which is the concept stage, where everybody's kind of piling ideas in, you're working, seeing what works, what doesn't. It doesn't necessarily say that all the ideas that are going in at the moment are gonna make it, but it's the best time to sort of trial and error things. And I feel like that's just such an exciting time that you really have to enjoy that moment, because it's when you're at your most creative rather than when you're at your most focused, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So much breadth for experimentation at this stage, like actually just chucking ideas in and seeing if they work, and being able to do that quickly and easily it's just an absolute gem day to day.
Yeah. So obviously we are at Develop. We will get on to talking about Develop. It is the main focus, the reason we are here, the reason that we will be riding on all the merry-go-rounds and eating ice cream for the next 3 days.
Straight after the podcast.
Yeah.
I've not had a single ice cream yet.
You haven't had a single ice cream. Well,
Right.
maybe there's some treats in store for the two of you. Keep your eyes peeled for that later on. But shall we start with the traditional? What have you been playing? Grace, do you want to start first?
Oh yeah, this is so much fun because I've only listened to people doing this so far and I haven't actually been on this. So I've recently been playing God of War Ragnarok, and also Fall Guys, which is just amazing fun. So I've re-downloaded it recently because I was gifted for my 3-month anniversary at Maverick Games a PlayStation 5, which was, I think I squealed in front of the entire company when I received it.
You actually ran straight home.
I did.
Yeah, like proper tears, like.
Yeah, H nearly took it back. She was like, "This is too much."
With broken Grace.
Yeah. She's too excited. So yeah, that's just been pure joy. So I just grabbed it. I think it was one of the first great games that I grabbed. I don't even know why. It was unexpected even for me. And
what do you like about it?
It's just everything about the gameplay is brilliant. I we were kind of like briefly talking about it yesterday, but the they got the exact perfect balance between exciting functional gameplay and just slight unpredictability, and they're just sitting on the right edge of that scale. So you're so close to thinking that you can nail it and achieve it every time, and then something will just throw you off. And it's just brilliant because there's no part of it that is, you can get extremely skilled at this game and you will definitely win every time. And I think that keeps it fun, and it keeps a level of competition out of it, which keeps it kind of more pure for me anyway.
Have you got any dubs yet?
No, not yet.
Close?
Close.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the other thing that I love doing in it is just So if you hit R1 or L1, you can, once you win, and if you win early enough, you can just flick between the cameras of all the other players. And there's tons of what I think are 5-year-olds playing this game, and just getting to watch them for hours navigate, and like you can see how they're learning and thinking. And I mean, it's probably actually
This is a
like
projection.
45-year-old woman playing somewhere in Japan that's just really struggling. But I'm imagining really sweet little kids who are just trying to get their head around this game, and they're just like bouncing off things and trying to jump nowhere near the actual goal, and it's brilliant.
Do
it's
you
just
grab people on the way to?
Sometimes,
Yeah, okay.
Is that a thing you can do? I haven't played
Yeah,
it. But
you can basically grab people and sort of stop them from going forwards.
no way.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
quite
you
like
get-
the sound of this.
You get people that get to the end and then they don't cross over, and
Yeah.
they just wait until you get near, and then they just
Grab you.
grab you. And that's the other thing, the sound effects in it are just utter joy as well. They're
Yeah.
so much fun. So yeah, great game.
Nice. Ollie, what about you?
So you'll be pleased to hear that I've moved off PGA Tour golf now. I've left that behind me, so I've managed to
Feeling
loosen
relaxed.
the grip. Yeah. I cleared out a bit of backlog, so I finished Wolong and Bayonetta.
I like how
That
you
was
describe it
great.
as a backlog. Just
Backlog,
like
yeah.
it's like a chore of games to get through.
Well, it's, sometimes we know what it's like. A sale comes on, you buy a few games, you don't play them. So I do like to clear out, try and make a dent in that anyway. Everybody's
Yeah.
got one, don't lie, you've got one, right? But so I also got a 3-month anniversary gift from Maverick, which was a PSVR 2. So I installed Gran Turismo 7, a game that I played a little bit of, but not a lot, to be honest with you. Found it maybe a little bit dry of an experience. However, playing it in VR is completely transformative. It's just incredible. It's so immersive. You're really sat in the cockpit. You go on Laguna Seca and you can really sort of feel that corkscrew, left, right hander
It's
going
weird
down.
how you can feel you feel the
Yeah.
verticality in it for some reason.
Oh, the camber in the roads. It just shows off the game. There's in my mind there is no other way to play the game now. I've tried to go back to playing it on the flat TV, but it's like going back a generation. Maybe that sounds like hyperbolic, but genuinely it does. VR's the only way. So, maybe sort of put half an hour of that a day. My times are getting better. I'm moving up the leaderboards. It's just fantastic. It really immerses you in that feeling of being in a car, feeling the camber, feeling the bumps in the road. The audio is really great in the headset, and the screen's really good on the PSVR 2 as well. It's the full game, full races, time trials, music rally. I've got the drum beat to Hooked on Classics on loop in my head at all times now. So basically, that's just my soundtrack now. So, that's me. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it.
Right.
Perfect.
Well, I've had a bit of a dive into the sales recently. There has been a few. I didn't have a backlog, and now I definitely do. So I'm yet to start. I bought the Callisto Protocol because big Dead Space fan. Kind of wanted to check that out. Although I think you mentioned on a previous podcast that Dead Space is it's far too stressful.
It's very stressful.
And knowing that, I bought it, downloaded Callisto Protocol. It's just been sat on the hard drive, and I haven't dived in. I just haven't had that evening where I wanted to be scared yet.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this on a previous podcast or to some other people before, but I keep digging back into Planet of Lana, which is that really beautiful sort of Studio Ghibli-esque art style game, which is kind of like can't rave enough about it because the music is beautiful, the experience is wonderful. It's got this it's very Japanese in its approach of it's got a little alien like cat figure that kind of follows you around, and that's the thing I've been enjoying about it, is that games like Inside or Limbo and all those kind of 2D platformers, even like Ori, Will of the Wisps or something like that, after a little while it's all about mastery, or it's the same thing and you're just you're experiencing whatever the story is unfolding. Whereas Planet of Lana actually adds a couple more game mechanics to do with this little alien that's kind of following you around, and it's also absolutely adorable. It's properly making all these cute little sounds. So I've been really enjoying that. I think I'll probably keep playing that. I'm very much a relaxed gamer, so maybe the Callisto Protocol was money down the drain, but
Ambitious.
yeah, I just got to make sure I actually play it for once. Cool.
What are you playing it on, by the way?
I am playing it on an Xbox Series X, which is great. Yeah, really good. Enjoying it. I don't have a PlayStation or a PSVR 2, so I need to jump in on that because it sounds really exciting.
Yeah.
So obviously we are at Develop.
Yeah.
Shall we touch a little bit on it?
Well, actually, great segue. I just tried a PSVR 2 at Develop.
Did you?
Yeah, I popped over to the XR game stand, and they've done a remaster of one of their games, PSVR 2. And what's super cool about that is I worked on a port of Iron Man VR from PSVR 1 to Oculus, and so it was a challenge because we had to downsize to basically Android, and they had the total opposite challenge, which I feel like I never hear about. People go, here's way more space, and here's apparently they had fantastic budget allocated for it. So and it's so much fun. It's
Cool.
so much fun. It's just killing zombies. The frame rate feels great. It feels really smooth on PSVR 2. It's my first experience of it, and massive improvement in the visuals. It's just awesome.
Yeah, we stepped into the expo, and I think we expected to kind of do like a quick lap, come back out again. I think we made like 5 steps before we bumped into some people chatting for ages.
Yeah.
And then I wondered where you were, but you basically spent like 15
Gone
minutes
off to shoot zombies.
shooting zombies.
Classic Grace.
To go and game. Yeah.
Classic Grace.
Yeah.
Where is she? Shooting zombies.
Shooting zombies, pretty standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess for any listeners at home who are going, what the hell is Develop? It's basically probably the biggest conference for games development in the UK, I would say.
I'd say so.
Outside of GDC, which is the Games Developers Conference in San Francisco, this is kind of like the UK equivalent, where they have 3 days of talks for general games development, and the reason that the audio team are here this year is because they have a fairly large audio track, which is basically one day on the Thursday where there's just loads of really informative talks. Place to learn, place to meet people, good place to kind of network, get to know people. I really personally love it because I think it's an incredible way of learning without having to like job hop, if that's the right term. Get to meet all these people, like so many interesting characters and so many learnings. I'm right in saying you've never been though.
So
Ollie, have you?
I've never been. So 23 years in the games industry. I've never been to Develop, so this is actually my first time. So in many ways, I think my initial thought was, what am I going to get out of this? not in a not in an egotistical, like I've got nothing to learn, but like what is Develop? What's it all about? So I guess I'm enjoying learning, one, what it's about, and two, actually, that I am learning a lot already, just meeting people, going around the expo and just having conversations with people, how people work with, on different problems, different solutions, things like that. So, and that's just all day, you're able to have such free conversations with people that do very similar jobs to you, and just figuring out the pitfalls and also the successes as well. So that's been quite interesting so far.
I think we had an incredible moment this morning where we were having a discussion, perhaps we can get onto this as well, we were having a discussion about games that got us into the games industry. Grace, you'd said...
Yeah, I said The Last of Us was utterly foundational and basically making me think about games, because I'd been music focused prior to that, and had dabbled in sound design and done a bit of sound design professionally, but in marketing contexts, actually on 360 and VR projects, which were a lot of fun. And it was just, I remember playing that game and I couldn't believe that games could tell stories like that and make me feel like that, and I wanted to be part of creating that.
Fast forward 12 years or something?
And today, this morning, at breakfast, about halfway through breakfast.
Casually, like it was nothing.
Turns out I was sitting next to the audio director of The Last of Us Part 2, Rob, and could not contain my fan personing.
It was a little squeal, I think.
Yeah, again.
You moved seats to be closer. Literally, that's not a lie.
I did. That's not a lie. No exaggeration there at all. I think we left, and the first thing Fraser said to me was, "You didn't actually quite manage to contain your call."
Well, that's the thing, right? Maverick Games fulfilling dreams since 2023. We've done it today, and we will continue to do it.
That's right.
And that was by lunchtime on the first day that we've been here. So by tonight, I'll have introduced you to Santa Claus, and then tomorrow the Easter Bunny, and Thursday we'll meet God, I guess.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, well, I mean, every god is subjective, right?
Yeah, true.
I think this is my 5th time at Develop, but I've come here in different contexts over the years, mainly as kind of as a developer representing for, they have a Develop Star Awards on a Wednesday night, which tends to be kind of, it's the reason it pulls a lot of developers down here. They have an evening where you sit down, you have a meal, a lovely award ceremony. Have never actually been have never actually won an audio award at Develop, but yeah, thanks. If you're listening, Develop. I think 3 years I've been down for the awards, and then afterwards there's a fantastic audio meetup in a pub along the road. This is only my 2nd time coming for the talks, but the first time I was there, I was like, this is incredible. It's really, really good. I learned a lot from it, and I was really adamant that when we started our audio team, we needed to get down and make sure that we got all the learnings that we possibly could. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it kind of nicely leads us on to a topic that we were going to talk about in terms of the importance of conferences and talks and networking, and it's something I'm particularly passionate about. Good to get your guys' takes on it, but I certainly find that Develop is a fantastic way of getting to know people, raising profile within the industry, and just kind of like putting a face to names that you kind of see on things like LinkedIn and stuff like that, and just kind of humanizing the whole industry. Even 5 minutes ago, I had a great chat with somebody that I had actually chatted to in the early days of Maverick Games, and came running up. It was good just to kind of get to know someone, because sometimes, I think Mike talked about this on an earlier podcast, that like you can't underestimate the value of face-to-face contact. Like an event like this isn't necessarily there to like hand your CV to someone or really like kind of pitch yourself hard at, but just having that face-to-face contact, the ability to kind of just let people see that you're kind of a decent person and like you could get along with them.
I've absolutely found that. I mean, not so long ago, but maybe half an hour ago, we've been chatting to peers and other people in the industry, and I was speaking to someone who had almost exactly the same intro into the industry as I did. It was such a bizarre situation where I said, there's this guy, Martin Atkins, lives in Chicago. He's a music producer, Invisible Records. He's like drum for 9 Inch Nails and all sorts of bands, Public Image Limited. And I used to go around to his studio, and I'd help with the kind of day-to-day stuff, and he would show me about sort of studio techniques, music production, and things like that. And that really gave me my passion for sound, for working in a studio, knowing that this was a viable career, because a lot of people's my age, their parents probably never owned a computer and probably didn't think that maybe like sound design, computers, video games could be a viable career path, but it absolutely is. So actually we both had that from the same random person, and it both turns out we like the same music, and we spoke about bands for about half an hour as well.
I am constantly amazed at how many people are secretly into metal music.
I know, Ollie's made so many best friends.
I know.
In the last few
well,
weeks.
actually, so this guy, I also went right in at the top level of the most brutal band I could think about, and he was like, "Yeah, I love them." It's like look,
Is
we
that
know,
like
your test?
we know
Yeah,
each other's level.
one-upmanship.
We know each other's level now, so we're best friends.
Like we ended all those like correspondence with like, yeah, really great to meet you. Maybe see you at the talk later on. Yeah, cool. And you're like, yeah, I'll send you some music recommendations.
Yeah, we've basically got a collaborative playlist with 5 people.
You
now.
like swap T-shirts
Yeah.
and signed each other's backs.
But yeah, I mean, look, that's a really great thing to me because, you know, we didn't know each other existed really before then, but now we do. We made a connection. You know, it feels like a semi-friendship at the moment. Like, you know, we will send each other music choices, but, you know, if there's an opportunity that there is, you know, we could work together in the future, or there's something we could, you know, they could bring to Maverick or Maverick could bring to them, then all of a sudden you've just got this friendly face that you can, you know, you can probably just contact.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's that is a big benefit of being.
Yeah. I remember the first year I was here, I was really anxious, really nervous because I didn't know anyone. And it really can be kind of nervous, like coming to a big event like this where you think everyone knows each other, like there's no way I'm going to fit in. And honestly, it's kind of something that you build on each year. Like even if you only have conversations with 5 people in the first time you're here, that's going to multiply the next time. Because like we were having lunch and bumped into someone who Ross Tregenza, who I'd worked with on Forza Horizon 5. He was in the Sumo Nottingham branch, and it was great. Just bumped into him. Turns out he was here for an award ceremony last night. Was able to sort of tell him about Maverick Games and introduce you guys. And
Did you also tell Ross that you haven't actually won any awards yet at
Well,
Developer Awards?
sadly, he said he didn't win any last night either.
Oh,
so
yeah, we're all in
the same boat.
yeah, we gave each other a hug, had a little
okay.
cry, and then
Had a little moment.
moved on with our lives. But yeah, I feel like now, 5th year, kind of, I can kind of come to develop and feel a little bit more comfortable that I'm going to bump into someone that I know. And often there's people like messaging me on LinkedIn, just kind of saying like, hey, you going to that thing? I think it just helps relieve that anxiety of like,
sure.
am I going to go there and just kind of like awkwardly hang around? Like,
Yeah.
the thing I would say is like, just do it. Just go and jump in. And even if you do feel awkward, like the first time that you go to one of those networking events, it's going to be worth it. You're going to meet someone that's going to help you. I don't know, in some way.
So interestingly, friend of mine, you've just met him, James Alexander, voice actor. We just bumped into him. He knew I was here. You know, messaged me saying, are you at Develop? I'm thinking about going down, but I'm not sure. I'm going on my own, so I'm not sure kind of how it will be. I'd be very interested to find out what his experience would be. But, you know, we bumped into him and he'd already had so many conversations with people, both that he'd worked with and hopefully people that he will work with in the future. So I guess, what's your advice for people that, you know, maybe thinking about next year, going down on their own, they may be new to the industry, maybe don't know that many people. What's your kind of advice for?
I guess pulling myself back to being in that mindset, I guess find a buddy, like at least someone that you can hang out with at one of these events. And if you don't have that, don't worry, because the internet is an amazing place these days. You can,
and everybody's wearing lanyards, by the way.
We are, and that's the thing. Like, just reach out and message someone, because I've had loads of people message me that I've never actually met in real life, but like they've either wanted me to look at their show reels or look at their CVs or portfolios, and like we're always happy to do that. Like it's always going to be the exception that there's someone who doesn't want to talk to you, and like
I think that's never happened to me.
It's never happened. Yeah,
I'd actually say look, so I've always been to conferences for years, even before getting into games, and I've always found massive value in them. But if I could go back in time and talk to younger me, the advice that I would give myself is basically completely scrap off the concept of going and meeting people for work and talking about anything to do with your qualifications, your skills, your background, your experience. Literally just go and think, I adore people, I want to meet some cool people, and that's it. And keep it so simple and so focused on that. And just get there, and you'll just find naturally, if that's your mindset, you'll just sit down, grab a coffee, and then end up chatting to the person next to you. And before you know it, you maybe had a great chat with someone for an hour, you've swapped LinkedIn's or emails, and then, you know, you can follow up with an email after that and say, oh, hey, by the way, it was awesome to meet you. This is some info.
And you made a contact.
Yeah.
You made somebody that you can lean on, well, not lean on, but somebody that recognises you as someone, we had some common ground, like we like the same music, or we're both playing the same game at the moment, or we both really got into the industry through the love of this game, for example, and you can connect with people. And I think that's a really important bit of advice, is that, you know, if you are new and you are sort of coming here as somebody that kind of wants to mingle in the industry, then do just that. You know, don't sort of hope to come away with it with a contract or a job offer. You know, if you've made friends, if you've expanded your LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever, that you can put names to faces, then that's more than you had when you came here. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think that kind of nicely brings us on to a topic that we were talking about on the way down. But kind of like the cost of entry of these types of things, they can be kind of prohibitive in some ways. It's one of the things that I do really like about Develop, is that it is the much cheaper way of experiencing something like GDC, which I've never been to GDC in my entire career. Never been. Not really hugely interested, because the problem is it's so far away. It's so expensive. If I was going to do it, I'd want to do a talk there, and that is a huge amount of work, a huge undertaking. Like, people talk about it taking hundreds of hours to prepare for that kind of thing, and again, GDC is not hugely great if you're going there to try and be employable. So of course, Develop is slightly cheaper, but we are in a kind of privileged position that you know, our company can sponsor us and to come down to events like this.
I actually last year just grabbed an Expo Pass, which is totally free. So you can essentially just pick up, you know, it's basically like a name badge and the lanyards, and then potter about, and you don't get access to the talks, but you're in the mix, and it just means that you're exposed to being able to meet and grab a coffee with and chat to anybody that's in that room, basically, that you can grab that has a second to chat.
And all over Brighton at the moment, there's lots of unofficial little meetups for various disciplines, and you know, you can go to most cafes, most bars. You can throw a stone and hit a dev at the moment. Not that I suggest that we do that. Not that I suggest that we do that, but it is kind of true, right? But yeah, like, there's so many people here at the moment, and practically everywhere you look, someone is a game dev, right? Everybody likes the same thing. I see it as going to a music festival where it's all one type of music. Everybody works in the same industry here. Everyone wants to meet people. So you've all got some common ground to talk about instantly. So, you know, that's a great thing. You've all got common ground. So, you know, you're not going to be struggling for things to talk about.
That's actually a really good point as well. I was talking to someone earlier today about changing your mindset, coming here, and a small thing that can help with, because I think there's a big topic for, I think, everybody, is a bit of social anxiety coming to these places, and whether you're meeting people that you haven't seen for years, or you've never met before, or even maybe people you're close to, but perhaps you maybe lean towards having a bit more social anxiety. I think one thing that will really help is just remembering that every single person there has some level of that same feeling. You know, everybody's feeling
I have
that
it myself
same
for
thing.
sure. I have an absolute cut-off level of you know, social interaction where you know, actually just want to go for a walk. But you know, maybe things like that might be interested in the future. I don't know whether they do them, like walks and more sort of casual things that aren't focused around, you know, not everybody likes being in a bar. You know, not everyone likes being in a noisy environment. So maybe there's those things too, or you can, you know, start trying to arrange those things as well, you know.
I think it's maybe powerful for people to know that, like, we've all kind of got some level of social anxiety with this sort of stuff. I would say, like, I'm more confident now. But like, when I started out in the industry, like, I was incredibly scared of going to these kind of events.
Sure.
It's really hard to know what to say, and it's something you kind of learn. Like, I would avoid these kind of things like the plague, and I think now that I've spoken to more people, had that exposure, I kind of understand the kind of questions to ask. And I maybe some advice I would give is just ask people about themselves. Like, it's kind of that old psychology of anyone will kind of like you if you just ask them a question about themselves, and inevitably that person should ask you a question about yourself, and if you find that conversation's hard, then go, great, see you later, bye.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
yeah.
and talk to these people over here.
Yeah.
It could be a simple question though, just like, hey, how's your develop going?
Yeah,
Something super simple, and then everything just falls off that.
yeah. And there's always that age-old thing of like, sometimes you're standing chatting to any group of people, and you might have been there for 20 minutes, and you're thinking, I should really mingle. I should go and speak to someone else.
Talk to that person now.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a welcome change if someone
Yeah.
comes over and you might not know them, but if they say, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself, I don't know who any of you are, that kind of breaks up the dynamic. There's never going to be a conversation where it's like, excuse me, we're actually having a discussion
Yeah.
about
This is a
about this
business
thing."
meeting.
Yeah, it's like get a booth or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And actually that can be incredibly useful to kind of help the natural flow of these kind of events. So
Yeah.
hopefully that
It's,
helps.
it's a hard thing to do though, and I think everybody has a scale on being on the extrovert introvert
Yeah.
sort of scale. I often sometimes would walk into a very busy room and see a lot of, hear a lot of loud voices and big personalities and wonder, I must be a few levels below that. But actually, put me in a conversation, in a smaller group, and I'm fine. So I think it's it's a difficult thing to just sort of walk up to people and say who are you, but you can give it a go and see how you feel. And like I say, everybody's got a common interest.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to turn you away. In fact, I might try it later and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, I think you could arguably say that you could still push yourself to have a couple more conversations, like push yourself into that uncomfortable zone, and then eventually you will start to feel more comfortable. That's the only thing I could say to myself,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Would you have any advice for anyone who might think it's a little bit expensive? Is it worth it? Should I spend the money on that?
If they were thinking about specifically the talks,
The talks or attending, even the price of hotels round about here.
I guess, and travel and stuff. Well, I mean, James was saying he was gonna just come down for the day, for example. James Alexander,
Yeah.
you were talking about a second ago, and he has ended up staying
Yeah.
overnight, I believe. But it's very possible to do it and just come down for a day. I came down for a day last year. Travel, obviously, dependent, your costs can vary there. But I would say, if you can get travel down here and keep your costs to an absolute minimum, and even if you come down for the day and just expose yourself to being able to chat to some people, don't necessarily go to any of the talks. I didn't last year. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah, if the budget fits, I think it's a worthwhile experience to try once for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the benefit of it as my first time here. I'm definitely, regretting not being able to have sort of come here. So yeah, very obviously grateful to be here. But I definitely see the value in being here and being surrounded by, people who've all got a common interest. That doesn't happen ever.
Yeah.
You've all got a common interest. This is the best place to be to make contacts, talk to people, get mini talks outside of the auditorium with somebody just in a bar. Ask them about how they do things, what they do. Everyone wants to talk about what they're passionate about. So
Yeah, definitely.
I think if it's within budget, you can afford it. You can do it a bit cheaper. Then I absolutely feel like it's a very worthwhile experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even a life experience, really.
Yeah.
And I do think, I guess to tie off the point, like kind of speaks nicely to kind of our ethos at Maverick Games around mentoring, improving the people that work with us, always trying to grow and improve ourselves, like go to the talks, get a little bit more knowledge. That should help us hopefully innovate as we start to kind of make these games and pull a little bit of sauce from each of the sauce piles.
A bit of sauce.
Sauce piles.
Sauce.
Do you get piles of sauce?
I don't know.
Fraser, what is your
Making
favourite
that
sauce?
My favorite sauce pile is my favorite sauce. Oh wow, maybe like so. Not to name drop, but Nando's do a really good peri
Okay.
peri mayonnaise.
They
Yeah.
do,
Okay.
yeah.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
You can't have it on everything though.
can't have it on everything. No, I would say maybe a bit of hot sauce.
A bit of hot sauce.
Yeah, kind of a hot sauce guy.
Okay.
Domino's
Same.
garlic mayo dip.
Oh,
Okay,
oh.
Yeah, I went
Ooh.
rogue.
But you
Yeah.
have to have that
Yeah.
quite warm, right? You can't have. Well, no, that's the Papa
Not the
John's.
dip. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All
yeah.
of us are thinking we don't want to be the tomato ketchup guy.
No, nobody wants to be the ketchup guy.
Frank's hot sauce on mac and cheese. There you go. That's me.
There you go. Nice.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we should finish the podcast on a quiz for Develop.
Oh,
And so I've developed a little quiz which I like to call Bright On or Bright Off. So I think we should make two teams, Grace versus Ollie.
That feels like a good split.
Yeah, considering I know the answers, it's not fair if I participate.
Probably not.
Whoever wins, I will buy you an ice cream. If it's a tie, fair warning, you have to share the same ice cream. So obviously, when you come to conferences like this, there's lots of talks, and people like to get kind of creative with the names of their talks. Yeah. Some of them I thought out of context, a little bit funny, and I thought we could play a game of Bright On, Bright Off. Is this a conference talk or not a conference talk?
Okay.
Or is it from in there?
Is it from inside the Fraserverse?
Okay, Fraserverse, yeah.
So I'm going to read out a series of conference talk names. It might be the full name, it might just be a snippet of the name.
Okay.
And if you think, we'll give you both a chance to answer at the same time, so you can be controversial if you like. If you think it's a real conference talk, I want you to say Bright On.
Okay.
And if you think it's a false Fraserverse talk,
Okay.
I want you to say Bright Off.
Okay.
And we'll keep scores, okay?
If Sauce Pile is in any of these names, it's going to be a real giveaway.
It's a real giveaway, okay.
Final question, what ice cream is it that we can win?
Oh, good question,
Oh, right. Well, I mean, you might be sharing, so what would you both like?
Not a flake.
99.
I'm not sharing a flake with you. No, I'm kidding. If we did share a flake, I would give you the twirl as well.
Okay, thanks.
All right, okay. So we're just doing like plain vanilla whippy with
a flake and sauce.
99p whippy that is now $1.99.
All right, so
it's inflation.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready?
We're ready.
So first, conference talk name.
Okay.
Congrats, you're a middle manager now. What now?
Bright On.
Bright On. Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You're both correct. That is a talk by Mark Espinoza
Sharing that flake.
Berenstein from Sumo Digital.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay,
here we
well
go.
Done. Good
well
start.
done.
Good start. So
one step
second
closer
talk.
to that 99.
Putting the prod back in production. The art of getting shit done.
Bright Off.
Right off. Yeah, that's from right in there.
Yeah, I know your brain.
Okay.
You are correct.
Yes.
All right. 2-2.
Okay, 2-2.
I feel like you're working together.
We're going to be lady in the tramp in this place.
Oh, we were. No, I think
you should work together.
I think I'm going to throw it at the end and buy my own.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Number 3. There are 10, by the way. So
Okay.
Number 3. The Guide to the Future. Why you should care what the government thinks.
Bright On.
Bright Off.
Oh, Bright On.
Bright Off.
Same Bright Off?
Yeah.
Bright On.
It is Bright On.
No!
Yeah, that is a talk by Dan Wood from Yuki.
Okay, so
One up.
One up.
Okay.
3-2.
1 up.
I feel like I should get a point when
What, for writing them?
Okay.
tricking me, yeah.
Number 4. Programming a tiny Scorsese.
Say that one more time. Slower.
That's Bright Off.
Programming a tiny Scorsese.
That's Bright Off. Bright Off.
Bright Off, yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea what that means.
You're both wrong, actually.
No way, I read that.
This
Damn.
is it is only a segment of a talk name. It's called Match Cuts in Immortality. Programming a tiny Scorsese.
Ah, like directing.
By
Yeah. Very
Conan
good.
Carson, Half Mermaid Productions.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You
I
know
feel
what-
like if we would have heard the full title, we'd have
But
right
it would
on
have been the
that
giveaway,
one.
wouldn't
Yeah,
it? I mean,
okay.
I only said Bright Off because it was such a good name.
It was good.
Just remember, these can be shortened. Okay?
Okay, they can be
okay.
shortened.
Okay.
They
So-
will deceive us.
So are you keeping track of scores?
I'm 1 up at the
3-2.
moment.
Yeah.
3-2,
We both
okay.
got that wrong, didn't we? Yeah.
Number 5.
Okay.
The innards of flesh.
Oh, that's got to be
Bright
a Mortal
On.
Kombat. Bright On, Mortal Kombat.
Okay. You're saying Mortal Kombat. What are you saying?
Bright On.
What? Okay. You're both right. It is the innards of flesh. It's a Dead Island top.
Dead Island toys.
Yeah.
4-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Next one.
4-3.
Number 6.
Still on me.
Yeah. Just.
All we hear is audio no. The never-ending feedback loop.
I want it
Bright
to
Off.
exist, but I don't think it does. Bright Off.
You're both correct. that is
That was a
right.
Fraser. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so hang on. That's
How are we doing?
5-4.
5-4. Yeah.
5-4.
Yes.
Just to
thank
be clear,
Yeah.
5.
We are filming this so people can see
Yeah.
Ollie pointing at himself with
Okay.
a 5. Yeah.
So we're on to number 6? No,
Six.
number 7. Number 7.
You've got some, like, you've got
We'll
to bring this
find
back.
it.
I know I do. Yeah.
Okay. They're just not that into you.
Right on.
Yeah, Bright On.
Oh god, this could be a great Fraser pun though. I don't know.
Do you want to change?
I might
They're
change.
just not that into you.
Right
Does-
off.
I'm sticking Bright On.
You are?
This is really good.
Thanks.
Hold on, that means
No, you
Okay.
stick. So what did you say? You said
Bright Off.
Bright off.
Bright
on. Where were we? It is Bright On.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to have some
You're
epic
miles
comeback now.
ahead.
They're just not that into you. 5 mistakes Dev makes when pitching to the press by Neon Hive.
You know what? I should add here.
Didn't want
that
the ice cream anyway.
I can't eat gluten, which would mean that the 99 flavours are poison to me. So I think I'm actually
not laughing at that, by the
sabotaging
way.
Okay,
Of course you won't.
we've got 3 left. Still
Okay.
time to pull it back.
Still time.
All right.
Okay. So we have the ups and downs of working from home alone. A masterclass with Kevin McAllister.
Bright Off.
Right off.
Come on.
You're both correct.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed it. I think you get a point.
Well, I think we talked
You
about
get a
Home
point.
Alone a lot on the
Yeah,
train yesterday.
we
So
have.
You get a
7-5. Yeah,
Yeah.
and 1
Yeah.
to phrase. Yeah.
I want to Fraser.
Cool. I'll buy myself an ice cream
7-5
anyway.
1. Yeah.
Okay, second to last. You expected me to talk about UI.
Bright
Ooh.
On. Because that's brilliant.
I'm going to go bright off purely because the only way I can win this back is by getting a point.
They're going the opposite.
Yeah, basically.
okay. So you can either fall more behind or go.
Yeah.
So it's like UX as in UI and UX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You expected me. Yeah.
Are you explaining this
Well,
because you
yeah.
made it
no,
up?
but I think that,
I'm thoroughly mansplaining.
that people confuse the two quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I reckon this is a demystifying
Okay.
Okay.
talk.
It is Bright On.
No!
Yeah.
Further behind.
Yeah, sorry.
It
Too
was a
far behind
gamble.
now. Too
Yeah.
far
This is why I
behind
don't
now.
gamble. I'm not
That
very
is
good.
by Chloe Patricia Hodgson
Great.
from
great
Ubisoft
title,
Reflections.
Great title.
Fantastic.
Okay, last one.
Okay,
Last one.
here we go.
Here
Don't know
we
how you're
go.
going to win this
Here we
race.
go. You can still pull it back. There are.
Physically
How many points are you down?
3.
Okay, this one is worth 4 bonus points.
Hold on, where are these rules coming from?
4 bonus points.
Okay.
Okay. Retrospectives. It's all poops and chuckles until someone chuckles and poops.
Bright Off.
Retrospectives. It's all poops and chuckles until someone chuckles and poops.
I mean, I've got to say Bright Off for that.
Right on. I've got to go the opposite.
I've got to go the opposite.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure, Ollie?
Yeah.
Okay. It is Bright Off, which means Ollie gets the 4
Which
bonus
means I'm
points.
So I've
8
gone,
points behind.
like,
It
over
was
the wall.
a clear
Yeah.
win.
All right,
Slam
we
dunk.
have a clear winner. Well done. Well done.
Was that the poor Hollywood handshake?
No.
No. Okay.
That's the
I've
Oliver
got to really
Johnson
earn
Yeah,
that.
Oliver Johnson. That's the.
Great game,
I'm a
Ollie.
very good winner. You know, very
Yeah.
humble winner.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go and get you an ice cream Ollie
Yeah.
with a flake and some stuff on it. Don't worry, I'll get you one.
But what I was going to say, Fraser's conscience will not allow this to happen. So.
Well, next time, who knows? The stakes might be upped. So I
Yeah.
guess that's probably all we've got time for on this episode of the Maverick
Yeah,
Games
great quiz.
podcast.
I really enjoyed that
That
quiz.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
And,
good quiz.
um,
You should have 17 points for that.
Yeah. And if we do this again next year, look forward to the next round of Bright On, Bright Off.
Yeah.
Right
But
on,
for
right
now, I guess before we log off, make sure you follow us on all the regular socials. We'll be here until the Thursday if you're around. Do you know what? We're not going to have this edited up, so yeah. I guess in future, come and see us next year.
Yeah.
That was great.
Any final words before we sign
Yeah,
off?
if anyone is thinking about coming out next year and we're here, just hit us up on LinkedIn. You know, if you don't know anyone, you want to totally come on your own, but you just want someone to say hey to, hit us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, my legs have gone numb, so
Yeah. Well, Ollie will be arranging a
we've got
walk.
pins and
Yeah,
needles in my
we're going to go
feet.
and chuck a stone and see if we can
Yeah.
hit the games developer.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
All right, until
Thanks,
next time.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.